I'm watching this, and then I look at the American media, and they're saying Putin has locked the competition, the opposition, out of the media, and they can't be heard. This is a bald-faced lie. I mean, they just tell them 180 degrees of the truth.
Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. So this is an interview conducted by Morris from a couple days ago with George, who is an American that's been residing in Crimea since 2006. Now it's important to note that I've edited this down for you for the best bits, well, that I felt were the best bits worth sharing. And of course, if you want to see the whole interview, the link will be below. So with no further ado,
let's go already!
George, you're from the Crimea, but you're in America at the moment, and we want...
No, I'm an American. I live in Crimea since 2006, roughly. And I come to the U.S. To do short contracts and try to make money.
Okay, so give us a rundown. What you've seen Crimea transition into being part of Russia. How would you describe the change?
Well, very little change, actually, except for in people's attitude. People are very happy. Let me put it this way. When it was Ukraine, Sevastopol, I live in Sevastopol. Sevastopol is an autonomous city in an autonomous region that technically belonged, contrary to the will of the people there, to the silly, broke, ridiculously corrupt country of Ukraine. So the laws were not really enforced. They couldn't enforce them. People just pretty much ignored them and did what they wanted. It's very laid back. Now that Russia's there, the biggest thing I see is they're enforcing the law. I mean, they put up signs at the beach saying no bottles, no cigarettes, no dogs. Everyone still ignores it, but they put the signs up. They started enforcing street vendors to buy licenses and things like that, but nobody's got a problem with that.
So now the military presence in Crimea is, would you call it Crimean military or Russian military?
Russian. It's always been there. I live between Black Sea Fleet headquarters and the motor pool near Kherson. And ever since I bought my apartment, I think it was in 2006, they would march through in formation right by my garden, going to lunch or to do their laundry. There's trucks full of them driving around. It's nothing new. I got a chuckle out of it. I thought it was kind of funny when the Western media showed trucks full of soldiers and soldiers marching in formation and called it a Russian invasion. That's normal there. It always has been. The Russians have been there since the 1700s.
Right.
Ukraine had their troops there too in small number, and they would march around as well, but they're not there anymore. That's about the only difference.
I tried politics for a second. There was a great hopes in Russia for the Trump presidency.
I saw that.
And just a few days ago, he said he's waiting for Crimea to be returned from Russia to Ukraine. Is there a change of mood, or is there a sense of realism now that Trump is not going to assist or help or make the peace with Russia?
I don't know what Russians think of it. I don't know what to make of it. I liked everything Trump said, and I thought it'd be interesting if he actually did what he said, but he's got an enormous amount of opposition. I'd like to think that he's crazy like a fox and he's just throwing things everywhere to throw everybody off kilter so he can get something done, but I'm not sure if he's that smart. I don't have any idea what's going to happen.
Okay.
I'd love for him to take the sanctions off. The sanctions have made me poor. I can't get money to my wife except to fly home with it and hand it to her. It's crazy.
What, you can't do a bank transfer?
No. I used to take the phone. So I've been doing this a long time. I come to the States and work 2, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever I can. And I used to take my phone and transfer the money from my bank to her. It was great. It cost about $30. And now it's impossible. Technically, I've read the sanctions, and it is possible. It's legal. The sanctions read, I forget which one it is. It's General License number 6, I think. Private persons can send remittances to other private persons in Crimea that aren't on the sanctions list specifically. Well, my wife is not on the sanctions list, so I tried to send her money. The bank confiscated it.
Whoa.
I had to get the OFAC involved, and they said they would investigate because it's not a sanctions violation. Well, they didn't actually tell me that. It says it in generalizes number 6. But I was advised off record that anything that says Crimea, the bank is going to confiscate it. And it took about 12, 13 months to get my money back because it wasn't a sanction violation. But if I do it again, it'll just be confiscated again. That's the way it works. They have sanctions officers at banks that are on the payroll. I think they get to keep the money. I'm not sure. I think it's then nobody would give me a straight answer on that either. I think it's privateering. Sanctions. Oh, violation. Boom. Take it. Keep it. If OFC makes you give it back, so what? A year later, you give it back. Nice.
Terrible. Well, you've been pretty informative. What haven't I asked you that's maybe big news? Do you know the news headlines in Crimea this week, for example? We certainly don't.
Probably about Trump. What I like about Russian news, I can watch Russian news. I love it. I watch Perry Canal. They'll give a story on an international level, and then they'll show you what Le Monde said and what Der Spiegel said and BBC and Al Jazeera. In the U.S., they don't do that. They won't show other points of view. And they say that Russia has state-controlled media. I got a dose of that. The elections, for instance, I first realized how crazy the Western media was in 2012. I'm watching hours and hours every night of Putin's opponents giving political speeches and diatribes and debates. Zhirinovsky, who else was it? Zuganov, also the American oligarch. There's main people running against him. The oligarch was I never could remember it, so I wrote it down. Now I can't find it. Prohorov. They were running against Putin, and they were on TV every night. I never saw Putin. And then someone on the news mentioned something about Putin doesn't need to be on this because he's a president. He's in the news every day anyway. He wasn't participating in it at all. Hour after hour of Zhirinovsky and the Communist Party guy, Zuganov. I'm watching this, and then I look at the American media, and they're saying Putin has locked the competition, the opposition out of the media, and they can't be heard. This is a bald-faced lie. I mean, they just tell them 180 degrees of the truth.
So you must, well, you're in America now, you must come across some anti-Russian sentiment here and there.
Oh, yeah. I think people are brainwashed. They don't know the history. They don't know anything. They're just with the propaganda going in their ears. I have friends that, Russia really did it now. Well, they haven't done anything, as far as I can see. Crimea has always been Russian. And a lot of Americans and Westerners don't know it, too. When the Soviet Union broke out, they had a referendum back then and overwhelmingly voted to join Russia, but it was ignored. Things have been misrepresented. My main point would be they're showing all these Russian military guys and saying it's an invasion. But like I said, since 2006, they've been marching past my house and driving up and down the road in their trucks. And that's all they're showing,
And they were there before that.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's no invasion. And Crimea belongs to Russia. Donbass really is full of Russians, and it's not because the Soviets flooded it like the Iran-Macmillan handouts say. It's because it was given to Ukraine. I mean, there's very simple solutions to these problems, but people aren't being told that. It's very hard information to dig up. You can find it and prove it in any old encyclopedia or newspaper article and see what happened. It's provable. It's just not something I'm saying. Anyway, that kind of changes the game on a lot of stuff that they're promoting.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I love it there. I'll tell you this, it's a beautiful, beautiful place, Crimea, and I love the people. I love the attitude and the atmosphere. It's still laid back, still. So the Russian laws, they tried to start enforcing them, and they kind of had to back off on some of it because people are set in their ways. I've never encountered any prejudice at all. I'm like a rock star there, even with all this stuff going on. People treat me like a king, and I'm kind of embarrassed by it, really. People are so nice everywhere. But the bureaucrats are a different breed. They're usually dynasty. They're descendants of old Soviet apparatniks. They've inherited their job, and they've just developed this complete unaccountability, and they don't even know how normal people live. They just bleed them any way they can.
Wow.
It's awful.
Okay.
But that's life.